No one is coming to fix your life. No one is going to save you. The only person who can make things happen is you. You are your only competition. No one else is coming to push you, to cheer for you, or to hand you opportunities. If you're waiting for the world to give you something, you'll wait forever. Now let me ask you some questions. What if the world's not going to hand you anything just because you want it? What if no one's coming to save you, and it's all on you to make things happen? It might sound harsh, but it's the truth. The reality is, people are busy with their own lives, and the only thing that matters is how hard you're willing to work. What if focusing on yourself, your goals, your growth, your improvement could change everything? What if all that time spent worrying about others could be used to push yourself to the next level? What if you stopped waiting for validation and started valuing your own progress? In this video, we're going to dive into why focusing on yourself is the best investment you can make and how putting in the work can lead to results you never imagined. Stay with me, because what you hear here might change the way you see everything. Now let's dive in. Number 1. Accept that nobody cares about your struggles or excuses. The world is full of noise, distractions, and opinions, but one hard truth you have to face in life is that at the end of the day, nobody cares about your struggles or your excuses. It sounds harsh, but that's exactly how the world works. You have to accept it. No one is going to feel sorry for you, and no one will be waiting around for you to make excuses. If you want to move forward, if you want to achieve something, it's on you. Nobody cares how hard you're working. Nobody cares how many hours you're putting in. No one is going to congratulate you just because you're trying. What matters is the result. What matters is your ability to push through and get to where you want to be, no matter the obstacles, no matter the setbacks. It's tough to accept this reality because we're all wired to want validation. We want others to see how hard we're working. We want them to acknowledge the sacrifices we're making. But here's the cold truth. Nobody cares. They don't care if you didn't get enough sleep last night. They don't care if you had to skip social events or if you missed your favorite TV show. They don't care if you've been giving everything you have. The world won't pause for your struggle, and it certainly won't hold your hand. Now, I'm not here to tell you that it doesn't matter. I'm not telling you to quit caring about your journey. But you have to understand this. Validation from others is a crutch. You have to be strong enough to stand on your own. It's not about waiting for someone to tell you you're doing great. It's about doing the work regardless of whether someone sees it or not. Think about this for a moment. How many times have you told yourself that you're tired? How many times have you said, I'm exhausted, and no one knows how hard I'm working? But did it change anything? Did the world pause and say, okay, take a break? No, it kept going. The people around you kept living their lives. So you know what? Stop looking for external validation. Stop hoping someone will come and tell you it's okay to rest. Stop relying on others to tell you your effort matters. You have to recognize that your effort matters because you know it does. You have to acknowledge that the road to success is a lonely one. But that's exactly what makes it worth it. When you do the work in silence, when you focus on yourself, when you put in the hours without anyone watching, that's when you begin to see results. That's when the real growth happens. Nobody cares about your excuses either. We all have them, don't we? I didn't have enough time. I'm too tired. The weather isn't great for my workout. I don't feel like doing it today. The list goes on. But here's the thing. Those excuses will never take you where you want to go. Excuses are a way to keep you in your comfort zone. They give you a reason to not take action, a reason to procrastinate, a reason to avoid facing the hard work that's required. You've heard it before, but let's hear it again. Life is not fair. It's not going to hand you what you want just because you've had a tough year or a difficult time. Life doesn't owe you anything. It doesn't care that you've been through hardships or that you've struggled. But what it does care about is your results. What it does care about is your ability to push forward, even when no one else is watching. So, what do you do with this? You get to work. That's it. You stop waiting for permission. You stop asking for a break. You stop thinking that someone is going to come and tell you it's okay to work hard. Because the truth is, no one cares. You have to focus on yourself. You have to take full responsibility for your progress. The more you rely on others to motivate you, the more you're giving up control. You give them the power to dictate your success. You allow the opinions of others to shape your decisions, to shape your future. When you focus on yourself, when you stop looking for validation, you take back control. You don't need anyone else to tell you that what you're doing is worth it. You know it is. The only person who has to believe in your success is you. You are the only one who has to get up every day and put in the work. It's not about waiting for someone to cheer you on. It's about building your own momentum. Now, let me tell you this. It's not easy. There will be days when you feel like giving up. There will be days when you're tempted to take shortcuts. There will be days when you want to quit. But those are the days that matter the most. Those are the days when you have to dig deep. You have to push yourself when you don't feel like it. You have to go the extra mile when it seems like no one is watching. You have to work hard even when it feels like no one appreciates it. Why? Because that's how you build your future. That's how you get to where you want to go. And it's all on you. You see, success is not about talent. It's not about how smart you are. It's about how hard you're willing to work. It's about the choices you make every single day. Are you going to keep making excuses, or are you going to start working for what you want? The decision is yours. If you can accept that nobody cares about your struggles or excuses, you've taken the first step towards real growth. You've taken responsibility for your own future. And once you do that, once you stop waiting for someone else to give you permission to succeed, that's when the magic happens. Remember, the work is never easy. It's going to take everything you've got. But here's the thing. When you focus on yourself, when you stop worrying about what other people think, you'll start to see results. And those results, they'll speak for themselves. Number 2, stop seeking validation and prove yourself with results. Stop seeking validation. I know this might sound harsh, but it's one of the most important truths you need to accept in order to move forward in life. Validation from others won't build your future. What you achieve, the results you get, that's what speaks for you. You can't rely on someone else's applause to know if you're on the right path. You have to become your own source of validation. Only then will you be free to achieve the success you truly deserve. We've all been there, seeking approval, wanting someone to notice the hard work we've been putting in. Whether it's from family, friends, or coworkers, it feels good when others recognize your effort. But here's the kicker. That recognition doesn't mean a thing if it's not backed by real, tangible results. Words are just words. Applause is temporary. Results are what change lives. Results are what create lasting value. Stop waiting for someone else to tell you that you're doing well. Stop waiting for someone to say, good job, or you're on the right track. You don't need that. You need to focus on your goals and prove your worth with your actions. Prove yourself with results. It doesn't matter if no one else notices or acknowledges the work you're doing. As long as you're making progress, as long as you're heading toward your destination, that's what counts. Let's face it, most people aren't paying attention to your hustle. They have their own lives, their own struggles. And when they do take notice, they might not even understand the full picture of what you're trying to do. They might not see the long hours you're putting in or the sacrifices you've made. They might not recognize the emotional toll it's taking on you, but that doesn't matter. What matters is that you're moving forward. What matters is that you're seeing results. And as you keep proving yourself through your actions, eventually the results will speak louder than anything anyone could say. Too often, we get caught up in the need for external validation. We want the world to recognize our efforts, to acknowledge how hard we're working. But here's the problem. If you live for validation, you'll constantly be disappointed. People have their own priorities. They're not going to constantly check in on you, asking, how's it going? Are you making progress? It's easy to fall into the trap of seeking praise, but doing so only weakens your resolve. It makes you dependent on the opinions of others. You have to ask yourself, are you doing this for them, or are you doing this for yourself? Is your success about getting the approval of others, or is it about achieving something meaningful for your own life? When you stop seeking validation, You shift the focus to what truly matters. Results. Results are the ultimate proof of your work. If you're getting the outcome you want, it doesn't matter whether anyone notices along the way. The results are what will carry you forward, what will open doors, what will change everything. You don't need someone else's recognition to tell you that you're on the right track. Your success is the greatest acknowledgement you can get. This isn't about being arrogant or dismissing the value of support from others. It's about realizing that your path is yours alone. If you wait for someone else to validate you, you'll always be stuck in a cycle of dependency. You'll be waiting for someone else's approval before you make a move, before you take that step forward. You have to trust yourself enough to act without waiting for external confirmation. You have to believe that what you're doing is right, even when no one else is there to give you a pat on the back. When you stop seeking validation, you free yourself from the constant need to prove your worth to others. You stop letting people's opinions shape your self-esteem. You stop caring about whether or not someone notices your effort or appreciates your sacrifices. You start to realize that your self-worth isn't determined by what others think of you. It's determined by what you think of yourself and the results you're able to achieve. Think about the most successful people you know. Are they the ones constantly seeking praise? Are they waiting around for someone to tell them they're doing a good job? No. They've made it because they focused on the work, they've put in the effort, and over time, the results have come. They didn't need anyone else to tell them it was worth it. They just kept pushing forward, one step at a time. You can do the same thing. You can create the life you want, not by waiting for approval, but by doing the work. Every small action you take, every step you make toward your goals, that's what matters. The people around you may not notice, but the results will speak louder than any compliment or recognition could ever do. There's a real power in focusing solely on results. When you stop getting distracted by what others think, or whether you're getting the validation you crave, you can fully focus on the task at hand. You can give your energy, time, and effort to your goals without the worry of what others will say. And when you do that, you'll find that you're able to achieve more than you ever thought possible. The world doesn't owe you validation. It doesn't owe you a round of applause for trying. What it owes you is the opportunity to succeed based on your results. If you work hard, if you put in the effort, you'll see the rewards. It might take time, and it might take more work than you thought. But the key is to keep going. Don't stop just because no one is patting you on the back. Don't stop because you're not getting the validation you feel you deserve. Keep going, because you know the results will eventually come. And when they do, all that hard work will finally pay off. The validation will come from the results themselves. This isn't just about what you're doing right now. It's about building the kind of life where your actions speak louder than words. It's about creating something that stands on its own, something that doesn't need to be explained. When people see what you've built, when they see the progress you've made, the results will speak for themselves. You won't have to explain how hard you've worked or how much you've sacrificed. They'll see it in the results. Number 3, cut distractions and focus on building your own success. Distractions are everywhere. In today's world, it's easy to get pulled in a million directions, constantly chasing after things that won't get you any closer to where you want to go. You scroll through social media, check your emails, watch TV, talk to friends, and all the while, the things that matter, the things that will build your success, are being left behind. The truth is, distractions are the enemy of progress. If you want to achieve anything meaningful, you have to learn to cut them out and focus on what truly matters. It's not about working harder, it's about working smarter. Distractions don't just waste time, they steal your focus, your energy, and your drive. You might think that you're multitasking, but in reality, multitasking only divides your attention. It's like trying to juggle too many balls at once. Eventually you drop them. You can't give your full potential to something if your mind is constantly split between other things. We live in a world designed to distract us. From notifications on your phone to the endless flood of opinions, advertisements, and entertainment, it's easy to get sidetracked. But every time you allow yourself to be distracted, you're losing valuable time that could be spent building your success. Every time you get pulled away from your work or your goal, you lose momentum. The path to success isn't about how many things you can juggle. It's about how many things you can ignore in order to stay on track. Start by acknowledging the fact that you have a limited amount of time and energy. Once you accept that, you can begin to see that distractions are taking away from what really matters. You have to ask yourself, what am I really building? What's truly important? If you're spending your time on things that don't align with your goals, you're not building the life you want. You're simply letting life pass by, reacting to everything that comes your way instead of taking charge of it. Cutting distractions means getting clear on what you want to achieve. It means recognizing that every second you spend on something that doesn't get you closer to your goals is a second wasted. It's easy to get caught up in the small, unimportant things, but real success requires discipline. It requires saying no to the things that don't matter. It means putting down your phone when you're working, setting boundaries with people who waste your time, and making sure your focus is always directed toward what will move you forward. Focus on your own success. Too often people get distracted by what everyone else is doing. They see someone else's progress, and instead of focusing on their own work, they get caught up in comparison. Social media is the worst culprit for this. You see someone's success, their new car, their vacation, and suddenly you feel like you're not doing enough. You start questioning your path, doubting your decisions. But that's exactly what those distractions are designed to do, to pull you off course. You cannot build your success by focusing on others. You can only build your own future by concentrating on your own actions. It's easy to get lost in the noise. But when you focus on your own success, when you eliminate distractions and stay committed to your goals, you'll find that everything starts to align. Your time and energy are precious resources. If you're constantly giving them away to things that don't contribute to your success, you're never going to get anywhere. The people around you may not understand why you've cut back on certain activities or why you don't have time for social events, but that's because they're not on the same journey. They're not building their future the way you are. You can't afford to let distractions dictate your progress. Cut out the noise. Shut down the distractions. It's time to focus on what really matters. That means saying no to the things that are taking up your time without adding value to your life. That means getting rid of the people, habits, and environments that are pulling you away from your goals. It's tough, but it's necessary. The moment you start eliminating distractions, you'll notice how much more focused and productive you become. You'll see how much clearer your path becomes and how much faster you can move toward your success. When you make the decision to cut distractions, you make the decision to take control of your life. No more excuses. No more blaming outside factors. No more wasting time on things that don't matter. You'll start to see your productivity soar. You'll begin to accomplish more in less time. And the best part? You'll feel more fulfilled because you're actively working toward your dreams, not just reacting to the world around you. Distractions aren't just external, they're internal too. Your own doubts, fears, and insecurities can distract you from your goals. How many times have you found yourself thinking, am I good enough? Or, what if I fail? These thoughts can hold you back just as much as the external distractions. You have to recognize them for what they are. Barriers to your success. They're fears trying to keep you in your comfort zone, trying to keep you from reaching your full potential. But you don't need to listen to them. Push them aside. Focus on what's in front of you. Focus on the next step you need to take. Success isn't about waiting for the perfect moment. It's about working with what you have, doing the best you can with the resources and time you have available. The more time you spend worrying about what could go wrong, the less time you have to actually do the work. You can't let distractions, whether they're external or internal, stand in your way. Success isn't about waiting for things to be perfect. It's about taking action even when conditions aren't ideal. Building your own success means being able to say no to the things that aren't in line with your goals. It means setting boundaries. It means prioritizing your time and your energy. And that takes discipline. But the good news is that once you start eliminating distractions, you'll begin to see just how much potential you really have. You'll begin to see how much more you're capable of. And that's where the real growth happens. It's about making your dreams a reality by cutting through the noise and focusing on what really matters. You have to ask yourself, what do I want to accomplish? What do I need to do to get there? Anything that doesn't move you closer to your goals is a distraction. Whether it's scrolling through your phone, watching mindless TV shows, or getting caught up in other people's drama, it's taking away from what you could be achieving. Number 4, work harder than everyone around you without complaining. To truly stand out and build a successful life, you have to be willing to do what most people are unwilling to do. That means working harder than everyone around you and doing so without complaint. You can't expect to achieve greatness if you're not willing to put in the hard work required, even when it gets tough. It's easy to sit back and point fingers at the circumstances, the people, or the lack of opportunity. But the real winners are the ones who show up day after day, pushing themselves beyond what anyone expects, without whining or making excuses. When you commit to working harder than everyone else, you make a promise to yourself that you won't settle. You won't settle for mediocrity, for average, for the bare minimum. You know that the road to success requires more effort, more persistence, and more dedication than most people are willing to give. It means getting up early when others are still sleeping. It means staying up late when everyone else has given up. It means working when you're tired, when you're discouraged, when you're not seeing immediate results. Because the truth is, the rewards won't come overnight. They come after months and years of consistent, unrelenting effort. And it's during those times when everyone else is complaining, when everyone else is giving up, that you push forward with even more focus and determination. The people around you might try to convince you that you're working too hard, that you're overdoing it, that you need to take it easy. But those same people are the ones who aren't going to achieve what you will. They're the ones who'll complain when things get difficult, who'll make excuses for why they didn't reach their potential. You don't have time for that. You don't have time to listen to anyone who tells you that hard work isn't the answer. You're focused on the end goal, and you know that in order to get there, you have to give it your all, without hesitation and without excuses. People often talk about wanting success, but they're not willing to do what's necessary to get there. They're not willing to put in the extra hours, the extra effort, the extra sacrifice. They want the rewards without the hard work. But that's not how it works. Success is earned. It's earned by putting in the work when no one is watching, by staying consistent, even when you don't feel like it. You have to want it badly enough to outwork everyone around you. And when you do that, when you give everything you've got, you'll see the results. Working harder doesn't just mean putting in more hours. It means putting in quality effort. It means being fully invested in the task at hand, giving 100% of your focus, energy, and attention to what you're doing. People who work harder than others aren't necessarily working longer hours, but they're working smarter, more efficiently, and with more intensity. They don't waste time on distractions. They don't procrastinate. They don't wait for things to be perfect. They do what needs to be done when it needs to be done, and they do it without complaining. Because the truth is, no one cares about your complaints. Nobody cares about your struggles, your obstacles, or your problems. The world doesn't stop and wait for you to get over your difficulties. It keeps moving. So you have to move with it. You have to keep working, keep pushing, and keep striving, even when it's tough. When you work harder than others without complaining, you develop a sense of inner strength. You build resilience. You become someone who is unfazed by the challenges that come your way. You develop a mindset that says, no matter how hard it gets, I'm not stopping. No matter what obstacles I face, I'm going to push through. Complaining only weakens your resolve. It drains your energy and keeps you focused on the problem instead of the solution. When you stop complaining and start working, you train your mind to focus on what you can control, on what you can change. You stop wasting time on things that don't matter, and you begin to focus on the actions that will move you closer to your goals. There will be times when you feel like giving up. There will be days when you feel like you've hit a wall, when the work feels endless and the results feel far away. But this is where true strength lies. It's in those moments when you're tempted to quit, when everything in you says, I can't do this anymore, that you have to dig deep and find the strength to keep going. This is where the difference between success and failure is made. The successful ones are the ones who keep going when everyone else has stopped, when everyone else is making excuses or complaining about how hard it is. The successful ones are the ones who push through the pain, the frustration, and the exhaustion because they know that the end result is worth it. When you work harder than everyone else, you become unstoppable. You develop a mindset that says, I'm going to make this happen no matter what. And the more you work, the more you build momentum. You start to see the results of your efforts, and that gives you the motivation to keep going. Success builds on success. When you see that your hard work is paying off, it drives you to keep pushing even harder. You become addicted to the process, to the grind, and to the results that come from it. But here's the thing. Working hard doesn't mean you have to sacrifice your well-being. It doesn't mean that you have to burn yourself out or sacrifice your health. Working hard means giving your best effort consistently and relentlessly. But it also means being smart about it. You have to take care of yourself. You have to manage your energy, your time, and your focus. Hard work without balance can lead to burnout. So while you're working harder than everyone else, make sure you're also taking the time to recharge, to rest, and to give yourself the space to grow. Because the journey to success is a marathon, not a sprint. The key is to stay focused. It's easy to get distracted by what others are doing or by the external noise around you. But you can't afford to let that distract you from your work. You have to be willing to do what others won't. You have to be willing to push yourself harder than anyone else. And most importantly, you have to do it without complaining. Complaining only takes away from your power. It keeps you stuck in the same place, focusing on the things you can't control, instead of focusing on the things you can. When you work harder than everyone else and do it without complaining, you develop an unshakable confidence in your ability to succeed. You know that you have the work ethic to back up your dreams. You know that no matter what obstacles come your way, you can overcome them, because you've already proven to yourself that you're willing to do whatever it takes. You've already developed the habits and the mindset of a winner. Number 5, remove toxic people who slow you down or doubt you. To build a successful life, there are certain people you simply cannot afford to have around. These are the individuals who intentionally or unintentionally drag you down, stifle your growth, and keep you from reaching your full potential. Whether they are naysayers, doubters, or just plain toxic, the truth is clear. You have to remove them from your life. It's a tough decision, but it's one of the most important steps you can take if you're serious about creating the life you want. Toxic people come in many forms. They might be family members who criticize every decision you make. They could be friends who constantly remind you of your limitations and doubts. They may be colleagues who belittle your ambition or try to sabotage your success because they're too afraid to pursue their own dreams. These individuals are like anchors. They tie you down and prevent you from moving forward. And here's the harsh truth. If you don't remove them from your life, they'll keep you stuck exactly where you are. It's easy to overlook the impact toxic people have on your life. You might feel like you need to keep them around out of obligation or loyalty. But consider this. Are they really adding value to your life? Or are they draining your energy, undermining your confidence, and creating unnecessary stress? You may have been conditioned to believe that you need to tolerate certain people because they're family or because they've been in your life for a long time. But if their presence is holding you back, it's time to let go. The first step is to recognize who these toxic people are. It's not always obvious at first. Some of these individuals disguise themselves as friends or supporters, but they are quick to point out your flaws and shortcomings. They tell you what you can't do, what you shouldn't try, and remind you of all the reasons why you're not cut out for success. These people may act like they have your best interests at heart, but deep down, they are projecting their own fears, insecurities, and limitations onto you. You have to recognize this for what it is. Their doubts are not your doubts. Their fears are not your fears. You don't have to live according to their limitations. You don't have to let their negativity dictate what you believe is possible for your life. Just because someone else is afraid to take risks doesn't mean you have to be. Just because someone else is content with mediocrity doesn't mean you should be. Their lack of ambition is not a reflection of your own potential. When you start recognizing these toxic people in your life, you'll see that they're everywhere. They could be in your inner circle, or they could be acquaintances you've accumulated over the years. Regardless, their influence on you is strong. They may discourage you from pursuing your goals, telling you that your dreams are unrealistic. They might tell you that you're being too ambitious or that you need to be more realistic. Their negativity spreads like a virus, infecting your mindset. And in turn, it infects your actions. It becomes harder to take the steps you need to move forward when you're constantly surrounded by people who doubt your abilities. Removing toxic people from your life is not about being cruel or disrespectful. It's about protecting your mental and emotional space so you can thrive. It's about creating an environment where you can grow, pursue your dreams, and become the person you were always meant to be. It's about removing anything and anyone who isn't helping you move forward. And let's be clear, Toxic people do not help you move forward. They might make you feel comfortable in your current situation, but they won't help you get any closer to where you want to go. At first, the decision to remove these people might feel uncomfortable. You may feel guilty wondering if you're being too harsh. You might worry about what others will think or feel about your decision. But here's the truth. Your life, your dreams, and your success are too important to let the opinions of others dictate your path. If someone is holding you back, it's not selfish to remove them from your life. It's necessary. Your success is not just about you. It affects everyone around you. When you become the best version of yourself, you lift everyone around you. But you can't do that if you're constantly being dragged down by toxic energy. The key to removing toxic people is to stop tolerating behaviors that undermine your potential. You might have been taught to be tolerant, to be understanding, to give second chances. But when it comes to toxic people, second chances often turn into endless cycles of disappointment, frustration, and wasted energy. You can't afford to keep putting up with negative behavior. It's like trying to carry a heavy weight with a broken strap. No matter how hard you try, it will always hold you back. There's a certain level of self-respect you must maintain when building your own success. You have to demand respect from others, but more importantly, you have to respect yourself enough to walk away from situations or people that don't serve your growth. The right people will lift you up. They will encourage you, support you, and challenge you to be better. They won't tear you down, make you question your worth, or pull you away from your dreams. Cutting toxic people from your life doesn't mean you have to burn bridges or create enemies. In fact, the healthiest way to approach it is to simply set boundaries. You don't have to engage in endless arguments or try to convince others to change. Simply stop participating in toxic behaviors and conversations. Distance yourself. It's amazing how much clearer your mind becomes when you stop trying to change people who don't want to change. It's also amazing how much more energy you have to focus on your goals when you stop investing in relationships that don't serve your growth. Once you remove toxic people from your life, you'll notice a shift. You'll have more mental clarity, more emotional energy, and more space to pursue what truly matters. You'll find that you're more focused, more motivated, and more committed to your goals. Your success will no longer be weighed down by the negativity of others. You'll begin to surround yourself with people who inspire you, who believe in your potential, and who encourage you to dream bigger. These are the people who will help you become the person you are meant to be. It's important to understand that removing toxic people doesn't mean you'll never face challenges or obstacles, but it does mean that you won't face those challenges alone. When you have the right people in your life, they will stand beside you during tough times. They will remind you of your strength, your value, and your potential when you start to doubt yourself. They will encourage you to keep going, even when things get hard. They will believe in you when you don't believe in yourself. Your circle matters more than you realize. The people you surround yourself with will either push you to grow or hold you back. If you want to achieve success, if you want to become the best version of yourself, you have to remove the toxic influences and replace them with people who empower you. Surround yourself with those who see your potential, who believe in your vision, and who will support you through thick and thin. Number 6, set clear goals and attack them with relentless energy. You've got to get serious about your future, and the first step is setting clear, intentional goals. Without goals, you have no direction. You're just wandering, hoping things will happen on their own, but you can't hope your way into success. Success doesn't happen by chance. It happens through deliberate, focused effort. And that starts with setting clear goals. These goals need to be specific. They need to be measurable. And most importantly, they need to be tied to your deepest desires. You can't just set any goal and expect to achieve it. Your goals have to matter to you. They have to be the driving force behind everything you do. When you set goals that are meaningful, you ignite a fire within yourself that keeps you moving forward. When you have a goal that you're passionate about, there's no such thing as giving up. You don't get distracted or discouraged because you have a clear, compelling reason to keep going. It becomes a part of who you are. You become obsessed with it. And that obsession pushes you to work harder, to go further, to reach higher than you ever thought possible. But setting the goal is just the beginning. Once you've set your goal, you have to go after it with relentless energy. You can't just casually work toward it and hope for the best. You have to commit to it with everything you've got. You need to wake up every day with a single focus, that goal. You need to go to bed thinking about it, strategizing about it, figuring out what actions you can take tomorrow to get one step closer. Your energy needs to be channeled into it. Every move you make, every decision you make should align with that goal. Relentless energy means going above and beyond. It means working when others are resting. It means pushing through the discomfort, the doubts, the challenges that come your way. You'll be tested. You'll face setbacks. You'll be tempted to quit when it gets tough. But that's where your energy comes in. It fuels you to keep going, even when things aren't going your way. It pushes you to take that extra step when everyone else is ready to stop. Relentless energy is the force that keeps you moving forward when the road gets bumpy, when the obstacles seem insurmountable. You need to tap into that energy at all times. If you're going to reach your goal, you can't afford to lose focus. You can't afford to let distractions take over. Every minute you waste is a minute that you could be using to get closer to where you want to be. Success doesn't wait for you to be ready. It doesn't wait for you to feel inspired or motivated. Success happens when you show up every day, no matter how you feel, and do the work. Relentless energy is the difference between those who achieve their dreams and those who let their dreams slip away. The key to achieving any goal is consistency. You can't rely on bursts of motivation to get you through. Motivation fades, but your commitment to your goal has to stay strong. The relentless energy I'm talking about isn't based on motivation. It's based on discipline and dedication. You need to get up every day and put in the work, even when you don't feel like it. The work doesn't always have to be massive or earth-shattering, but it has to be consistent. Even small, consistent steps forward will eventually lead you to where you want to be. Think about it this way. If you take one small step toward your goal every single day, that's 365 steps in a year. And those 365 steps will add up. They will compound over time. If you keep working with relentless energy, without skipping a day, without losing focus, you'll see massive progress. But if you're inconsistent, if you take breaks every time things get tough or you feel unmotivated, you'll make no progress. You'll stay stuck waiting for motivation to come back. That's why the key to success isn't waiting for the perfect moment. It's taking action every single day, no matter what. Another important piece of the puzzle is making sure your goals are aligned with your values. If you're not truly invested in your goal, if it doesn't resonate with who you are and what you believe in, then your energy will run out. You'll burn out. The work will feel tedious, and you'll find yourself making excuses to avoid it. But when your goal is tied to something you deeply care about, the energy to pursue it doesn't feel forced. It feels natural. It feels like a part of who you are. Let's say you set a financial goal. Maybe you want to earn a certain amount of money in a year, but the reason why you're working toward that goal isn't just because of the money. It's because the money represents freedom. It represents security for your family. It represents the opportunity to travel, to live a life on your terms. That's a powerful motivator. Now, every time you sit down to work, you're not just working for a number on a piece of paper. You're working for a vision that means something to you on a deep emotional level. That vision gives you the relentless energy to keep going, no matter what obstacles you face along the way. But relentless energy doesn't just come from having a powerful goal. It also comes from having a clear plan. You can't just say, I'm going to work hard. You need to break down your goal into actionable steps. You need to map out exactly what needs to happen to get from where you are now to where you want to be. Without a clear plan, you're just spinning your wheels. You're working hard but not smart. You're not making the best use of your time and energy. A plan gives you the focus you need to stay on track. It helps you avoid distractions. It gives you a clear path forward. And when you have a clear path, it's easier to bring that relentless energy into your actions. Don't let setbacks deter you. They are part of the process. There's no such thing as a straight line to success. There will be bumps along the way. There will be moments when you feel like you're making no progress at all. But this is when you dig deeper. This is when you pull on that relentless energy and push forward, even when it feels like the universe is working against you. These moments are the true test of your commitment. It's easy to stay committed when everything is going smoothly, but the real power comes from staying focused and determined when things get tough. When you set a clear goal and attack it with relentless energy, you begin to develop an unstoppable mindset. You start to believe that nothing can stand in your way, and the more you push forward, the more you prove to yourself that you are capable of achieving anything. Your confidence builds, and with it, your ability to face even greater challenges. You learn that failure is not the end. It's simply part of the process. Every failure is a lesson. Every setback is an opportunity to grow. But most importantly, you learn the power of consistency. The more consistent you are with your actions, the more unstoppable you become. Every day that you show up and put in the work, you get one step closer to your goal. Your relentless energy compounds and it builds momentum. Soon, it becomes second nature. You don't have to force yourself to work hard, it becomes who you are. Number 7, control your emotions and never let weakness show. Life is a constant battle. Every single day, we face challenges that test our patience, our resilience, and our character. There are moments when things will go wrong. There will be situations that make you angry, frustrated, and hurt. But the key to handling all of this lies in how you control your emotions. You need to understand that your emotional state is within your control. And no matter what happens in the outside world, you have the ability to choose how you react. The strongest individuals are not the ones who never feel emotions. They are the ones who master them, who refuse to let emotions dictate their actions. The first step in controlling your emotions is to recognize that they are not your identity. You are not your anger. You are not your frustration. You are not your sadness. Emotions are temporary. They come and go. But how you respond to them will define the trajectory of your life. When something happens that makes you angry, upset, or overwhelmed, it's easy to react in a way that shows weakness. It's easy to lash out, to let your emotions take control, to say things you don't mean, or act in ways you'll regret. But this is where the power lies, knowing when to pause, breathe, and regain control over yourself. The ability to control your emotions doesn't mean suppressing them or ignoring them. It's about understanding them and choosing to respond with strength and clarity. It's about finding a balance between acknowledging your feelings and not letting them control you. We all feel anger, frustration, and fear from time to time, and that's okay. These emotions are part of being human, but you don't have to let them dictate your behavior. You can feel them, process them, and then decide how to move forward. If you want to succeed in life, you must understand that showing weakness can hold you back. Weakness doesn't mean vulnerability or being sensitive. It's about allowing emotions like fear, doubt, or insecurity to affect your decisions and your actions. When you show weakness, you're opening the door for others to take advantage of you. You're giving up your power. And in a world where everyone is fighting for their own success, you cannot afford to do that. The strongest people are those who can remain calm in the face of adversity. They understand that emotions are fleeting and that how they respond in those moments will determine how they move forward. One of the most important lessons I've learned in my life is that emotional control is not about suppressing your feelings. It's about managing them in a way that benefits you. You need to understand that when you show weakness, you not only hurt yourself, but you also lose respect from others. People don't trust someone who is easily swayed by their emotions. They don't respect someone who can't control their temper, their fears, or their insecurities. Emotional control is a sign of strength, maturity, and confidence. It's the mark of someone who knows who they are, what they stand for, and what they're capable of achieving. It's not always easy to control your emotions, especially in high-stress situations. When the pressure is on, it can feel like everything is spiraling out of control. But that's when it matters the most. That's when your ability to remain calm and collected will set you apart from everyone else. It's when everyone else is panicking, getting upset, or making rash decisions that you need to stay composed. When you can hold yourself together in times of chaos, you show not only your own strength, but also your ability to lead. The key to mastering your emotions is developing self-awareness. You need to understand yourself, what triggers you, what upsets you, what makes you angry, and what makes you happy. The more you understand your emotions, the better you can manage them. When you feel anger building inside you, for example, instead of reacting immediately, take a moment to step back. Ask yourself, why am I angry? What is this situation really about? Is this worth reacting to? Often, we react impulsively to situations that, in the grand scheme of things, aren't that important. Learning to pause before reacting is one of the most powerful tools you can have. It's also about recognizing when emotions are clouding your judgment. Often in moments of extreme emotion, we make decisions we regret later. When we're angry, we say things we don't mean. When we're scared, we hesitate and miss opportunities. When we're overwhelmed, we shut down and avoid taking action. But all of these reactions are born from not managing our emotions properly. The person who is successful, who is in control of their life, is the one who is aware enough to take a step back, breathe, and make decisions from a place of calm and reason. You can't let other people's emotions affect your own either. People will try to drag you into their drama. They will try to get you to react emotionally to their problems, their issues, or their opinions. But you must learn to maintain your own emotional stability. You can't afford to get caught up in every little conflict or disagreement that comes your way. When you engage with others on an emotional level, it takes away from your ability to focus on your own goals. It pulls your energy in different directions, and that will always slow you down. The real power in emotional control is not in avoiding emotions altogether, but in choosing when and how to express them. Emotional intelligence is about understanding the right time to show emotion and the right time to keep it under control. There's nothing wrong with feeling anger, frustration, or sadness. It's part of being human, but you need to choose when to express those feelings and when to channel them into productive action. When you feel angry, instead of lashing out, use that energy to fuel your drive. Let your anger push you to work harder, to prove others wrong, to achieve what you know you're capable of. In every area of life, emotional control is a non-negotiable. Whether it's in your personal relationships, your career, or your finances, the ability to control your emotions is what allows you to make clear-headed decisions. You can't afford to let emotions take over and derail your progress. It's not just about avoiding emotional outbursts. It's about maintaining your calm, your focus, and your clarity in every situation. Weakness is not about feeling emotions. It's about letting those emotions control your actions. It's about letting your fear, your doubt, or your anger dictate the direction of your life. True strength is in knowing that you are the master of your emotions. You decide how you react, and you decide how you move forward. The world is full of distractions, challenges, and obstacles. You will face adversity. But if you can control your emotions and never let weakness show, you will be unstoppable. The more you practice controlling your emotions, the easier it becomes. Over time, you'll develop the strength to face even the most difficult situations with calm and poise. You'll make decisions from a place of power, not fear. And you'll achieve the success you've been working toward without letting anything or anyone get in your way. Number 8. Train your mind to stay strong when life gets tough. Life is not going to be easy. That's the reality we all face. If you're waiting for everything to fall into place or for things to just magically get better, then you're in for a rude awakening. Life is full of challenges, and the truth is, the only thing that will get you through them is a strong, trained mind. It's not about waiting for the storms to pass. It's about learning how to stand strong in the middle of them. If you want to get ahead, if you want to build something meaningful and lasting, you need to train your mind to stay strong when everything around you is falling apart. The mind is like a muscle. The more you train it, the stronger it gets. The more challenges you face, the more resilience you build. You can't avoid tough times. You can't avoid the obstacles that will come your way. But you can train your mind to handle those obstacles in a way that pushes you forward instead of breaking you down. The people who succeed in life are not the ones who avoid pain or difficulty. They are the ones who learn how to handle them. There's something powerful that happens when you train your mind. You start to see setbacks not as failures, but as opportunities to grow. When life gets tough, most people back down. They throw in the towel. They give up hoping for an easier path. But if you can train your mind to stay focused, to keep moving forward no matter what, you'll start seeing obstacles as part of the process, not as barriers to your success. A trained mind doesn't get overwhelmed by challenges. It doesn't panic when things go wrong. It doesn't fold under pressure. Instead, it remains calm, grounded, and focused on the goal. And that's what makes all the difference. Most people let their emotions dictate their actions when times get tough. They let fear, anger, frustration, or self-doubt take over. But a strong mind doesn't do that. It acknowledges those feelings, but doesn't let them control the situation. It doesn't allow itself to be distracted by negativity. Instead, it channels its energy into finding solutions and taking action. You can develop this kind of mental strength through practice. It's not something you're born with. It's something you can cultivate. It's about conditioning yourself to respond differently to life's difficulties. Instead of panicking or getting angry when things don't go as planned, you train yourself to stay focused and solution-oriented. You learn to manage your emotions so they don't derail your progress. And over time, this becomes your default mode of operation. You begin to see challenges as stepping stones rather than stumbling blocks. It's not just about toughing it out. Mental strength is about developing the clarity to see beyond the immediate pain. It's about knowing that this moment, no matter how difficult it may seem, is temporary. You don't let the pressure of the moment cloud your judgment or make you lose sight of the bigger picture. It's about taking control of your thoughts, not letting your thoughts control you. The mind has the power to make or break you. When you're in the middle of a storm, your thoughts will either keep you strong or break you down. You've got to learn to control those thoughts. When you feel yourself getting overwhelmed, you've got to step back and reframe your mindset. You've got to remind yourself that you have the power to handle this. You've faced challenges before, and you're going to face them again. You've survived them, and you'll survive this one too. The ability to stay calm, composed, and focused during tough times is what separates the winners from the losers. Life is going to test you. It will throw curveballs your way. There will be moments when you question yourself, when you wonder if it's all worth it. But that's when you need to lean into your mental training. That's when you need to remind yourself of your strength and your ability to persevere. That's when you need to push yourself to keep going, even when every fiber of your being wants to quit. The key to building mental strength is pushing through discomfort. Growth doesn't happen in your comfort zone. It happens when you step into the unknown, when you challenge yourself, when you go through the fire and come out stronger on the other side. That's where the magic happens. When you push yourself past the limits you thought you had, you discover a new level of strength within yourself. And that strength becomes a foundation that you can rely on in every tough situation you face. Mental strength also means learning how to bounce back from failure. Most people don't know how to handle failure. They see it as the end of the road. They see it as a sign that they're not cut out for success. But failure isn't the end. It's just a part of the process. Every successful person has failed. They failed more times than they can count. But what sets them apart is their ability to get back up, learn from their mistakes, and keep going. That's mental strength. It's not about never failing. It's about refusing to stay down when you do. When you train your mind to stay strong, you stop being a victim of circumstances. You stop blaming the world, other people, or bad luck for your problems. You take responsibility for your own life, and you realize that your ability to overcome obstacles is in your hands. Life will throw challenges at you. People will disappoint you. Things won't always go your way, but you control how you respond. You control how you face the storm, and if you train your mind to stay strong, you'll find a way through every single challenge that comes your way. It's also important to remember that mental strength is a practice. It's not something you build overnight. It takes time. It takes patience. It takes a commitment to keep pushing forward, even when progress feels slow. The more you face difficult situations and handle them with strength and resilience, the more you build that mental toughness. It's like working out at the gym. You won't see results overnight, but over time, as you continue to show up and do the work, you'll get stronger and more capable of handling whatever life throws your way. You also need to be mindful of what you're feeding your mind. Just like how your body needs good nutrition to stay healthy, your mind needs positive input to stay strong. If you're constantly feeding yourself negativity, self-doubt, and fear, your mental strength will deteriorate. You need to feed your mind with positive thoughts, affirmations, and inspiration. Surround yourself with people who support your growth. Avoid negativity. Fill your mind with things that uplift and motivate you. A strong mind is built on a foundation of self-belief. You have to believe that you are capable of handling whatever comes your way. You have to trust in your ability to figure things out no matter how tough the situation is. When you believe in yourself, you give yourself the power to face anything. Self-doubt is a killer of progress. If you don't believe in your ability to succeed, you'll never take the actions necessary to make it happen. So cultivate that self-belief every day. Train your mind to focus on your strengths, not your weaknesses. When life gets tough, remind yourself of all the times you've overcome challenges in the past. Let that fuel your confidence moving forward. Number 9, wake up early and dominate your day with discipline. Waking up early isn't just about getting a head start on the day. It's about setting the tone for everything that follows. It's about owning your day before the world has a chance to take control. The power of an early morning goes beyond just the extra time you get. It's about creating a habit, building discipline, and dominating every single day with purpose and intention. The first step is understanding the importance of this time. The world hasn't fully woken up yet. The distractions are few, and the noise of life hasn't yet filled the air. When you wake up early, you give yourself the gift of time. The time to focus on what matters. The time to work on yourself. The time to plan, think, and move with intention. The morning is the foundation upon which the rest of the day is built. And how you start it will determine how the rest of your day unfolds. What happens when you wake up late? You're already starting behind. You rush through the morning trying to catch up. And that feeling of being behind lingers throughout the day. But when you wake up early, you're in control. You've taken the first step toward dominating your day before most people even roll out of bed. The discipline that comes with waking up early isn't just about getting up at a specific time. It's about setting a routine that aligns with your goals. Waking up early means you've made the decision to take charge of your life. You've chosen to start your day on your terms. And that decision is powerful. Think about this. When you wake up early, you give yourself a head start on your goals. You give yourself the opportunity to focus on your most important tasks without distractions. You have uninterrupted time to plan, read, exercise, and work on things that will move you closer to your dreams. Most people will still be sleeping. And in those quiet, still moments, you can get ahead. It's a competitive advantage that not many people take seriously, but it can make all the difference. But waking up early isn't easy. It requires discipline. It requires a commitment to your goals. The first few mornings are tough. Your bed feels extra comfortable, and your mind tells you that you need more sleep. But you've got to push through that. Discipline isn't about feeling good. It's about doing what needs to be done, even when it's uncomfortable. It's about showing up for yourself, even when the world around you hasn't even begun to stir. The early mornings are where the magic happens. It's when you get to work on yourself before the demands of the day begin to pile up. It's where you lay the groundwork for success. And when you make it a habit, it becomes easier. Your body starts to adjust, and waking up early becomes second nature. But this doesn't just happen by accident. It takes effort. It takes commitment. You've got to make it a priority. Your success isn't going to come to you while you're sleeping in. It's not going to come to you while you're hitting the snooze button for the 10th time. It's not going to come to you if you don't take action. The people who dominate their days are the ones who understand this principle. They know that discipline in the early morning hours sets the stage for everything that follows. They know that their best work happens when they're not distracted, when the world is still quiet, and when they can focus solely on their goals. Number 10, stop talking and let your work speak for itself. Talking about your goals, dreams, and aspirations is easy. It's easy to tell people what you want to do, what you're capable of, and how hard you're working. But let's be honest for a second. Words, no matter how well chosen, will never carry the same weight as action. No matter how much you talk about your potential, your skills, or your grand plans, the only thing that truly matters is what you produce. In life, people are watching. They're paying attention to what you do, not just what you say. And the reality is, people can tell when you're all talk and no substance. They can tell when your words don't match your actions. So why waste time talking? Why waste energy telling people about what you can do when your work can speak louder than any words ever could? The truth is that the people who achieve the most are often the ones who stay quiet about their plans and let their work do the talking. They don't need to announce their next big move. They don't need to boast about what they're capable of. They just get to work. They let the quality of their work speak for itself. And when the results start showing up, people take notice. They don't need to say a word because their actions are enough to prove their value. This doesn't mean you should avoid talking about your work altogether. Communication is key, and there's a time and place to share your ideas and progress. But there's a big difference between sharing and bragging. Sharing is about letting people know what you're doing in a way that's meaningful. It's about showing progress and inviting feedback. Bragging, on the other hand, is about talking in a way that doesn't add value and makes you look like someone who's more interested in recognition than results. At some point, you have to realize that your actions will speak much louder than any words. If you're constantly talking about how hard you're working or how much progress you're making, people will start to get tired of hearing it. They'll start wondering if you're actually doing the work or if you're just talking to fill the silence. And when that happens, your credibility begins to slip. Instead of wasting time talking about what you're going to do, just do it. Put your head down, focus on the work, and let your results be the proof of your effort. The more you talk, the more you give people a chance to doubt you. The less you talk, and the more you show, the harder it is for anyone to question your commitment, your ability, or your potential. This isn't about being quiet just for the sake of being silent. It's about understanding that your work is your strongest form of communication. You don't need to convince anyone that you're serious about your goals. You just need to prove it with your actions. The results you produce will answer all the questions people may have about you. Whether it's in your career, your personal life, or your fitness journey, the most powerful thing you can do is show up, put in the work, and let your success speak for itself. When you focus on your work instead of talking about it, you free yourself from the constant need for validation. You stop relying on the opinions of others to feel good about your efforts. Your work becomes your validation. Your results become the proof that you're on the right path. And when that happens, something incredible occurs. You stop needing approval from outside sources, and you start finding confidence within yourself. You also free yourself from the mental clutter that comes with talking about your goals all the time. Every time you speak about your plans, you're giving yourself a little boost of satisfaction. You feel good momentarily, but that satisfaction is fleeting. It's not real progress. The true satisfaction comes when you look at your work and realize how far you've come, not when you've told someone about what you're working on.